Welcome back, my friends. My name's Gareth. This is Tech Check. We're 2 weeks away from the NVIDIA 4000 launch, and there's some absolute bargains already. One of my friends contacted me, sent me a message off Facebook Messenger and said, "Is this any good?" I said, "Go and get it." He came back about an hour and a half. He paid £1,000 for everything that you see in front of us. Granted, it was a fully built system in this TD500 from Cooler Master, and it was absolutely filthy, guys. But what he has got is an absolute bargain. We've tore it all down, put it back in its original boxes because the original owner kept everything. We've cleaned it all up and we're about to rebuild it correctly. So stick with me. We're going to walk you through it step by step, how to build an absolute bargain just before 4000 drops. Let's do this. So before we kick off, guys, just a quick overrun of the parts. And I'm sure you can see this one here. That's right, this is the RTX 3080. It's the Founders Edition. Absolute stunning card, guys. And it was a real good find. Real good find. In terms of CPU, we've got a 6-core AMD 5600X. For anyone that's watched the channel recently or over the last 6 to 12 months, you'll know that we've used this CPU loads and loads and loads. Great CPU, 6-core, 12 threads, and I would say the value choice of last gen. We're going to be housing that in this B550F from ROG. We're going to be cooling it via this Kraken Z73. We're going to power it via this Corsair RM850. We've got 32 gigs of Corsair Vengeance RGB Pro, and then we've got 1 terabyte of 980 Pro from Samsung, and then we have got a 1 terabyte SSD from Kingston as well. Again, housed in this Cooler Master TD500, so it should look pretty nice. Let's get on with it. Up comes the case. I'm just going to take these panels off, guys. When we're removing this TD500 front panel, it's just 2 front screws and then it slides off. The back one is just 2 thumb screws as well. They are captive as well. Good thing about this case, guys, really nice grommets. It's got all the standoffs pre-installed as well. Because we've got a rear IO shield already inbuilt into our motherboard, we don't need to worry about that. So we're going to lower this in, like so, just being careful. Once it's onto the standoffs, just push it back into place. We're then going to secure it in place with 9 of the screws. I absolutely love this WowStick 1F. It's probably one of the best presents that my missus has ever bought me. Now that we've got our motherboard nice and secure, CPU, RAM and M.2, guys, all we're going to move on to now is our CPU cooler. Big decisions here. I don't know whether this Z73 has got clearance from this VRM and heatsink to go at the actual top as an exhaust. If it has, I'd prefer to put it there. If it hasn't, then we are going to replace it where it originally was at the front here. So Kraken Z73, guys, if you haven't watched that last video, we actually used it in that as well. Really, really good cooler. LCD display. Creates a lot of static pressure, the fans do, and does an amazing job at cooling CPUs. It's going to have no problem with this actual 5600X at all. So what we're going to do, as we said previously, I'm either going to mount it at the top, which would be preference as an exhaust, or we're going to replace it back at the front as an intake, which I'm not a big fan of because the whole point of having a mesh actual case is to allow good airflow, and what we don't want to do is actually cool this 5600X and then potentially be pushing warm air into the case, because We don't have an option of putting any intake at the bottom in this particular case. So essentially we just have 3 fans at the front, and then we're going to have a couple of fans, or maybe 3 fans at the top and 1 at the rear, all as exhaust. So it's not really going to be adequate. So top would be preference. So great news, guys. We have got enough clearance with this RGB Pro RAM and the actual fan mount and the radiator at the top. So that's absolutely fantastic. I just wanted to be double sure just before we actually went ahead. A pea-sized shape of thermal paste, if I've got any. There we go. That's plenty. Now, the one thing that I don't like about these Z73s is quite straightforward. It's essentially, if I put that onto there like that, it's going to be pushing up against this RAM stick. I don't like that at all. Not to mention, it also has the cables coming out all over the place. So what I like to do is mount it just like this here. Now I'm going to change the bracket, and we can do that quite easily by just twisting it and putting it on. I'd like to have mine like this. So therefore, the cables are coming out this side and straight up that side of the motherboard. There we go. And then I'm just going to put the other 2 on as well, guys. And there we have it, guys. Much better. We've got this exhausting hot air from the CPU rather than utilizing it as an intake. Now we can get 3 nice fans at the front, pulling in fresh air, and then this rear exhaust here. Not to mention, it looks better at the top as well. We'll go ahead and chuck in this RM850, guys. Good opportunity to do it now. We can feed through the CPU 8-pin for the motherboard. Not only that, once we get this in, we can start pushing all the cables through to the relevant places, making those required connections, and then start to cable manage the back. Now that we've got all our cables connected to our PSU, we want to make sure that the fan is facing downwards against this vent. What I'm going to do now, guys, is feed all the cables through the relevant grommets, and then we'll show you all the connections on the motherboard. We'll connect our 3 PWM fans for our cooler. What we'll do while we're here, guys, is we will mount our Kingston drive. What we're going to do is we're just going to mount it in this sled just like this. Well, essentially it will be like this. You want to make sure that you've got your data connections at this back side, and then we're just going to slide that into this sled. Push on our SATA power, and then we'll reconnect our other SATA power the right way. We need to get a SATA data cable, and we need to connect that. For these 3 RGB Cooler Master fans at the front, we've got a Cooler Master splitter cable. One end is for VDG, i.e. Gigabyte. The other one is for ASRock, Asus and MSI. This is a 5-volt addressable cable, guys. It needs going on a 5-volt addressable header on your motherboard. So we'll put that one through slightly in a minute. And then what we also have is we've got on the other end 3 connectors, which we need to connect 1, 2 and 3. And what we've also got, guys, is a 3-way splitter cable. Again, dead straightforward. All we've got to do is attach each one of our fans, and then we can attach this onto one of our PWM headers on our motherboard. So the first one we're going to connect is our 24-pin. Second one is our SATA data. Next one is our USB 2. We've then got our HD audio. A quick tip with that is making sure that the writing's facing upwards, and it goes on this connector down here. Next up is our USB 3.0. All we've got left, guys, is our 8-pin for our CPU, which looks like it's going to be fun to try and get in there. So a bonus tip here is if you are top mounting your radiator, pull out your 8-pin CPU and feed it through and connect it, because what I'm going to have to do now is undo these 12 screws slightly lower down the radiator, push through the actual CPU power cable, and then connect it and then put it back into place. The only other ones that are left are our front panel power, reset, LED and HDD lights. There we go. Very fidgety, guys. So just push the excess through to the back of the case. So there we have it, guys. 10 minutes, quick overview of obviously what we've done. We've not gone OTT at all with regards to tidying this up. This case does a pretty good job of keeping things tidy, in all honesty. I've just got one more zip tie to put at the top here, but I want to make sure the all-in-one cables are pulled through enough and just tidy those ones up. But essentially, it is what it is. It's not too bad. It's a solid back panel, so you're not going to see it anyway. So to most people, guys, if you went back 18 months ago, this was the crown jewels. Everybody wanted one due to the reduction in price, obviously $699. Like, whoopee! Nvidia's given us all, obviously, graphics cards for cheap, but 2022, they're like 2 times and then plus cost. So obviously, yeah, it's not good times at the minute, guys. So this is the reason why I wanted to build this and just show you that whilst these 4000 series are coming out, there's going to be plenty of deals on the table. And don't think that this is not capable, guys. A year ago, everyone was raving about it. If you've got a 144Hz monitor playing 1080p, 1440p, it's an absolute beast. The only difference will be is obviously now the 4080 and 4090s are coming out, and the rebranded 4080, which is really a 3070. Yeah, I think you'll be absolutely fine. For someone that's not wanting to have their arms and legs broke and potentially sell a kidney, this could be a really, really good route to go. Once it's lined up, we're looking for a click, just like that. We can go ahead and put the screws back in. And there we have it, guys. Nicely connected, no fuss, no mess, nice, clean and tidy. So what we're going to do now, guys, is we're going to get this front panel on, our back panel on. We're going to chuck up a monitor and we're going to see if we hit that all-important boot screen. So we've now reached that point, guys, where every PC builder starts praying that everything's all right. We turn the power button, we press the power button at the front, quick pray, we're going to be good. We're going to be good. So we've got the 3 lights and the fans at the front. We've got our RAM. We do need to obviously download CAM software from NZXT and rotate this LCD display. Oh, we're straight into Windows. Look at that. How good's that? Fantastic. So that's absolutely brilliant, guys. So no hiccups, no issues, no problems whatsoever. So we've got this 32 gigs worth of Corsair Vengeance, this Z73 all-in-one. We've got a 3080 Fans Edition, an RM850 power supply in this TD 500 mesh on this ROG B550 motherboard. We've got a 980 and then a Kingston 1TB SSD. And I think that's everything. But all in all, for £1,000, I don't think you're going to get much better, including this 5600X CPU. I guess that's the only one. You probably could push to like a 5800 or a 5900, depending on what you're doing. Now, I know my friend is purely a gamer. He's not a content creator. He doesn't video edit or anything like that. So 6-core 12 threads are going to be absolutely brilliant. But I'm guessing if you were a content creator or a video editor or something like that, then on this specific setup, you could still go to something like a 5900 or a 5950X for those 16 cores and 32 threads. So overall, I don't think you're going to find much better value out there for £1,000. And to be honest, it looks good. It'll perform good. So I don't think he's going to worry. So guys, let me know down below. Are you going to be searching for some bargains once 4000 releases? Get on those Facebook marketplaces, get on eBay, look around, keep your eyes peeled. I'd love to hear from you down below if you've seen any bargains as of yet. Overall, thoroughly impressed. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Have a great weekend. Don't forget to subscribe. Take care.